Good morning. Good morning. Truth Disclosure 369 in the house once again. Uh, Coming in the universal words of peace and send peace to all who may come across this video or may not. Doesn't matter. Send peace out all around the board. That's exactly what we need right now in these despicable times. Just wanted to get on here. I got Midnight the Battle Cat. It's also on the scene. Just wanted to get on here for a little bit. They still are flooding. Told you the slap heard all around the world. The slap that distracted everyone all around the world. And the sad thing about it is that people who, the people who are involved are people that people may have had respect for, may have this, but they're being used for ulterior motives, man. I mean, the thing is, like I hear a lot of people say, like, is covering Will Smith slapping Chris Rock and the whole drama behind it, whether it was wrong, whether it was right, whether he jumped the gun, or Jada is full of stuff because she had skeletons in her closet. And is any of that shit putting food on your table, making your job easier, making your quest to find cheaper gas, like I said yesterday, all this shit, is that making that shit any easier? It's like people throw their energy in this shit, and it's like, this is what's fucking people up. And the distractions of it, man, it's like the pandemic is non-existent, really, to be honest. No matter what these lying motherfuckers keep saying, when you cut on the local news and they say, "Oh, we found out that we got 1,000, 1,200 so more cases and 5 deaths or whatever," obviously the pandemic is over, but yet there's, you're not hearing anything. The Ukraine thing is changing up. And it's hard to believe anything anymore, anything that's being said. And it's like, you gotta have these distractions, man. You gotta have them. I'm gonna go to this first screen. Hold on a minute. Let's see if I didn't take it off of her. I probably did. Damn it. But let me get this video up. But well, it's not a video, it's just an article that I wanted to bring up. The distractions that we have, that taking up all of the energy in people's minds right now. Just want to, while that's going on, you got people who evidently feel like that they can say certain shit and there won't be no, really, these are slick snipes at all of humanity. But people ain't paying attention to it. So it's like a slap in the face to everybody. I take offense to it, and I think that the Blackrock president is a piece of shit, and he's another fake ass motherfucker out here that then got over on stealing and redistributing the wealth of billions of ignorant people across the country and the globe. But BlackRock president, for those that don't know what BlackRock is, it's an investment firm and an asset management entity. You can look it up and it shows, and there's a lot of controversy around BlackRock. But BlackRock president says entitled generation now learning about shortages. There's some truth to that because a lot of people do feel entitled to certain things. You know, when you look 40 years ago, 50 years ago, and earlier on in history, when different stuff was happening, look at the Great Depression, look at different depressing times or recessive times in history. When you had a lack of technology at that time, or the technology that was there was being housed and used only for those at that time who were considered the elite then. But you have this generation in which and you know, a lot of it is a part of the generation I'm in as well. Come up from a generation of using microwaves to now you cell phones and navigations, and the generation of using maps and cooking and all that stuff. You know, we all battle with that shit. But when you have a person who is shouldn't be speaking on anything pertaining to calling out people, because your company, your fucking business entity is doing so much corrupt shit, stealing and redistributing wealth from those that really need that wealth, and it's going to motherfuckers who you know, do shady practices and for insidious purposes. Who are you to be calling out what the fuck people are learning about shortages? Is your company and is your influence as this particular president of this place, are you doing anything to help about the shortages? Hell fuck no. So shut the fuck up. And people need to understand, when these folks be saying shit like this, I'm telling you, they talking about everybody. They talking about the person who's in the store urinating on bags of chips. They're talking about the person who just left from their 9 to 5, had a pretty good day sitting in front of a computer all day, feeling good that they have a little check that coming in, even though they got to pay off on bills and pay on student loans and this, that, and the third. He's talking to the person who struggling with their small business, talking to the person that is trying to figure out whether they can pay for gas in that car or keep the lights on from DTE, another monopolizing entity that's full of shit. So when they say shit like this, fuck them. You're not doing anything to address the problem. You're not doing anything to call out the hypocrisy in this shit. The only thing this company is about maintaining holes where they got where their interests are involved, and their interest is not with the common folks around here. So when you see shit like this, it's like, fuck you, BlackRock and whoever else that think like that. But this is how they think. You entitled generation. and you know how, you know, a lot of that entitlement was basically pushed on people. When cell phones and technologies came out and I got everybody gone crazy, that shit was all of these mother same people were pushing this shit. So shut the fuck up. So, you know, the distractions out of distractions, you know, it takes away from motherfuckers continuing to know what you're dealing with in this society, and when you got you're able to switch and go to stuff like this. January 6th, the January 6th investigation, all the Congress, House Committee, and all this shit doing their thing to continue to pursue justice for January 6th. January 6th White House logs, giving the House show 7-hour gap in Trump calls. So, they're now they're getting in on this again and cranking this up, and now they're trying to say that the investigation is leading to some credible evidence. Of course, we gotta keep in mind January 6th is really important. We didn't just lose damn near a large portion of the nation to corrupt shit dealing with a pandemic. Lord forbid we investigate that. Lord forbid we have hearings again for this. Let's continue to beat the drums on that shit. And I don't even think people give a fuck about that no more, man, because it's like y'all haven't came up with anything conclusive. Haven't came up with anything. If you do, what the fuck you gonna do? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? So it just shows the where the mindset of these dumbass Democrats. And I'm all in now when it comes in and talking about their asses, because they ain't shit. It's all about going in on these dumbass liberal Democrats who continue to act like they pushing for helping people, especially blacks, and who are fucking brainwashed by this shit. Honestly, keep thinking that they're doing stuff for the people, and all they're doing is trying to keep the heat off of their ass on the neglect and the lies and the corruption that they're doing, while they're focusing on the other party's corruption and bullshit. Which, you'll never get a fucking you'll never get nowhere when you have parties doing that shit. But let me go to another one. Because the distractions are out here. That slap heard around the world is keeping people from seeing what these dumb motherfuckers, these fake ass leaders, fake politicians, in it for themselves, in it for their circle. Fuck the common people out here working and grinding and trying to do what they're doing every day. Let's go to this one. Sad. It's fucking sad. Fucking sad. And so now here we go with another one. Can't believe CNN is reporting this. Of course, their credibility is down the drain with a lot of the major news networks. So now you got this going on. Federal investigation of Hunter Biden heats up. In the midst of the slap heard around the world. So with the January 6th commission and Donald Trump, what's going to be the commission on Hunter Biden and Joe Biden and the laptop? And the fact that a lot of this shit going on in Ukraine was shit that was headed that way due to dealings and maneuvers that's going on with the same motherfucking liars and hypocrites in these administrations that are using the powers of the whole United States government and everything that comes with that for shady ass dealings that them and their families and all this shit are involved in. So let's see how that goes. Sad thing about it, you don't see any Democrats speaking up about that shit. That should be just as important as January 6th, right? Especially when you talk about a laptop that's talking about deals with biolabs and all this shit. You know, the same ones they saying that don't exist in Ukraine, but then all of a sudden they, oh yeah, they do have, US do have biolabs that actually are biolabs in Ukraine, in which they're actually renting the space from the Ukrainian authorities to be using to do all type of fucking gain of function tests. The same fucking shit they was doing in China with Fauci and the NIH, and the overwhelming fact that the Democratic Party and those in power, these fake ass leaders, will not go in to investigate or form a commission to what's up with the truth about that. Even though we murdered a bunch of people across the country via pandemic protocols that came down from motherfuckers like Fauci. Ah, man. Slap her around the world, trying to distract from all this shit. Fucking sad, man. Fucking sad. Look at that. Look at that clone right there. Fucking clone, man. And you know, and in this article, it goes into the Ukraine business dealing, you know, with Burisma and all that shit. That was a big thing coming from the Trump administration when they was in there, when they was calling out shit. But the devil, you know, the devil trying to call out the devil, you know, yeah, you know, fuck that. All y'all need to be called out. And you know, it goes all into the different things that were happening. But I'm surprised CNN actually has this on their fucking website. But just as easy as they have this shit on their website, you can listen to CNN and you can listen to dumb motherfuckers like Dom Lemon. Sit up and talk about how Joe Biden is doing what's right and this, that, and the third. No mention of shit like this. You'll probably hear more about Chris Rock and Will Smith more than you will any of this. So that's surprising CNN got that on there. You know, just wanted to share a few little things, you know, how these folks sitting up here acting like this shit is hold on one. Go to another one. You know, the slap heard around the world and keep people away from what they need to be hearing and what they need to be putting their energy in. You know, this whole thing about Clarence Thomas and the shit that's revolving around this whole thing with him and his wife. You know, only showcasing the hypocrisy and the confusion and the bullshit that these so-called leaders, these human beings who are fucking over people, they are mismanaging the institutions that they are supposed to be in to use for the benefit of so-called constituents, or, you know, Americans, those that are from this country. You know, ridiculous. And so it was one joint I need to go to for, because I'm not going to be on here. No, I just wanted to get on here and share some shit. Why these motherfuckers keep on talking about cover-ups, and, you know, from January 6th to Biden. It's like, how much more can we take? How much more can we take of the nonsense? How much more? And for people that we're still in a pandemic. They never said that we're not in a pandemic anymore, or we're out of the pandemic. We're still in a pandemic. So technically, everybody's still out here. Whether they push back on masks and they stop some of the mandates, we're technically still in the pandemic. We're still walking around at risk, technically, according to the bullshit that they put out. Biden to urge Congress to provide more funding for pandemic response. It's almost like where's the response going to be to? What's really going on? But my thing about that is, if the response can't be, and this is just a few articles still talking about the pandemic, recent articles. Of course, we got to have COVID-19 isn't over for Black Americans, because Black Americans are dumb. They don't listen to reason. They follow anybody else. They don't listen to their own spiritual essence, telling them, back up, review the scene. And so many of them are dying, so they must get vaccinated. Let's check this article out. Syrian report released Tuesday by the Black Coalition Against COVID details the immense toll the COVID-19 pandemic has taken and continues to take on Black communities. Not once will it say that this coalition has went on to question the fact that the main mouthpiece behind the pandemic has not been held accountable for numerous times lying in front of Congress about the same incident that has taken so many Black Americans. I know, because it's taking people in my family. Black folks don't want to hear that part. As a matter of fact, let's see what Fauci has to say. Come out of here. Let's see what Fauci has to say. You barely hear from him anyway. Oh, wow. This is what he had to say. So with the slap going around the world, still be aware that this shit is still going on as well. Fauci, Americans should be prepared for new COVID-19 restrictions. This is, of course, from Fox. Let's see what we have here. White House Chief Medical Advisor Dr. Anthony Fauci on Sunday warned about the potential for the reinstatement of COVID-19 restrictions in the U.S. Goes on to say, I don't want to use the word lockdowns. That has charged elements. And to me, to be honest, I don't think that's going to happen. People would say what they want, but I don't believe in this country or any other country, as far as with people seeing the corruption and the hypocrisy and the bullshit going on, when they try and do any more lockdowns, especially in countries that haven't given them their soul away to the World Economic Forum or Bill Gates or Davos and all these foreign ass entities that are have corrupted sovereign governments. You won't see that. You won't see people jumping for that no more. You probably see straight out revolts. And it's almost like that's what they want. They want. And here go this murderer. He is a murderer. This fucking scumbag right here is responsible for the murder of my parents and so many other people. What else we have? Fauci says we may never know if costs of COVID lockdowns outweigh benefits. What? Now you know this is gotta be some insanity in here. Fauci says we may never know if costs of COVID lockdowns outweigh benefits. Like you can't see the effects of the lockdowns just on the economic standpoint globally. Like you can't see what the lockdowns have costed just regular people who are also being bombarded with the pandemics, fear mongering, and that shit that went along with that. Plus the tragedy, the sympathy, the consequences, and everything else, because people are losing people. We're scared to death. We want to know what the fuck going on. We're running this way and that way. You know, they're telling us one thing at the hospitals. And when we are there, we're seeing all this massive movement to just try and take people out. You know, centered around this decrepit individual, a murderer, who is not alone in his murderer intentions. You have governments that back this shit. You have political parties back this shit. They who are also guilty of murder. To be honest, you look at it. So how the fuck can you say we may never know if the cost of COVID lockdown outweigh the benefits? Who the fuck has benefited? Who is benefiting? Only benefit I've seen out of pharmaceutical companies, which these motherfuckers like him have so much stakes in. Fucking say it. And then we have shit like this. March 29th. Fauci, China's secrecy. Let's get that out of there. Fine. And of course, you got to pay to even see this fucking article. Fauci's China's secrecy in Wuhan investigation, a natural reflex. How can that be when Dr. Fauci and the Chinese government worked hand in hand with the Wuhan lab? But yet, there's always this trying to act like they're hiding shit, and Fauci is clean. That's why so many ignorant ass Americans over here feel like it's just China and that's they're doing, when actually it's American funded scientists and programs and China. Get it straight. It's ridiculous, man. Now, hold on 1 minute. One minute. I just want to go back to the initial, one of the initial articles that helped to prove that lying ass Fauci and those that protect him and enable him and continue to allow him to be heard and taken seriously. NIH acknowledges U.S. funded gain of function at Wuhan lab. And of course, Senator Rand Paul, who's been reacting, that was the one who had been going after him, reacted. And this is, of course, from back in October of last year. The NIH kept saying, no, we didn't do it. We didn't do it. Until last night they admitted, yes, they did do it, said Senator Rand Paul. The National Institute of Health is now admitting to funding gain-of-function research at lab in Wuhan, China, despite repeated denials from Dr. Anthony Fauci that U.S. tax dollars were used on the funding. Why do people still think that this shit is something that just is random, that just happened? These folks are full of shit. You're literally giving these folks credence for murdering people and blaming it on a health crisis, for destroying their economy, for bringing up all these bullshit ass topics, from gay rights to these rights to that rights to that right, and use it as a means to distract from all this bullshit they've been doing. Sad, so fucking sad. Yet the slap heard around the world distracts and help keep people away from this shit. And that includes these same motherfuckers in the entertainment industry and all that shit. Why you don't hear them saying nothing about that? Why you don't hear rappers speaking on this shit? You do have some out here. These are the ones that of course won't get no airplay or none of that shit. The poets, those that show about freedom and sustainability, and those that are about racial justice, no matter who you may be, whether you're black, whether you're race native, whether you're Palestinian or however. Why the fuck nobody wants to speak on that shit but certain people? And here we are, going into April of 2022, after all this shit already been acknowledged by the main fucking groups. The NIH acknowledged this shit, but it won't be acknowledged by the Democratic Party of this country, the United Snakes of America. It won't be acknowledged by this administration. Just as easy as that laptop of Biden won't be acknowledged in the biolabs in Ukraine. That could be the breeding ground for some more shit to happen. Oh man, it's it's hilarious to a degree, but none of this shit is funny. This is serious shit. Every time I look at shit like this and I see these folks up here playing these games, they have really put themselves in a position where they have aided and abetted murderers, people who are know full well what's going on, has impacted all these people across the planet, human beings, lives taken, snatched, families, lives turned upside down. Not only on that, but like you said, all the other stuff that comes with it, including the financial aspect of all this shit. Look at the turmoil that's coming behind it. The NIH. But yet these motherfuckers still won't say nothing. Well, all these fucking marchings and all these fucking protests and all this shit that these folks keep talking about, yeah, I'm pretty sure you try and bring up anything on that. Of course, they hit you with some type of censorship. Still, I'm gonna go to one more real quick. It is Rick. And it's like, I'm not gonna stop speaking on this shit. I don't give a fuck how yes, I'm gonna still speak on it. Why should a person not speak on the fact that these folks have murdered a lot of people? So I'm gonna go tell another article. Vanity Fair, 2021, October. In major shift, NIH admits funding risky virus research in Wuhan. Biolabs. I totally resent the lie you are now propagating. Dr. Anthony Fauci appeared to be channeling the frustration of millions of Americans when he spoke those words during invective-laden Mad for Twitter Senate hearing on July 20th. You didn't have to be a Democrat to be fed up with all the xenophobic finger pointing and outright disinformation coming mainly from the right, up to and including the claim that COVID-19 was a bioweapon cooked up in a lab. On Wednesday, the NIH sent a letter to members of the House Committee on Energy and Commerce that acknowledged two facts. One was that Echo Health Alliance, a New York City-based nonprofit that partners with far-flung laboratories to research and prevent the outbreak of emerging diseases, did indeed enhance a bat coronavirus to become potentially more infectious to humans. Translation, weaponizing, which the NIH letter described as an unsuspecting result of the research it funded that was carried out in partnership with the Wuhan Institute of Virology. The second was that Echo Health Alliance violated the term of its grant condition, stipulating that it had to report if its research increased the viral growth of pathogen by tenfold. Where is the outrage? Now, like I said, this is from back in October. People know that this shit is out here. Murderers, liars, deceivers. So many ignorant people out here, man. So many. Distracted by the slap heard around the internet. And with that, I just want to get on here and put that shit out there. And I'm gonna end with this on the screen, because how do you go from calling out shit and saying that you ain't supposed to be speaking on this shit when before knowledge of knowing that it's true, you know, there could have been an argument on that. But when you know it's true, how do you still go along with that narrative? Like, how do people still get shots, and how do people still get boosters? How do people still respect what these folks are saying about the vaccine? So with that, I just like to wish everybody a continued blessed day, blessed week. If I get back on here, you'll know. But people, please come across this video, man. Black, white, native, I don't give a fuck. Martian, Venusian, you know, hey, this is serious shit that we dealing with, man. We dealing with fuckers, man, lying to all of us. Many people aren't here because of these fucking lies. And people are sitting up here going along with this shit consistently. But the slap going on, the slap heard around the world got us fucking sad, man. With that, I greet y'all in peace. Stay with your third eye open. Continue to add my voice to this consistent threat of global domination by this cabal group and by those that are in bed with this cabal group. Don't matter who the fuck they are, wherever they are. You get a big fuck you to all government institutions here who don't want to answer this or bring any light to this. Fuck you. Fuck you, Democratic Party. Fuck you, presidents and all that shit who don't want to speak on this shit. Fuck you, Donald Trump, and your bullshit, weak ass want to be comeback. And those that continue to want to think that this man is about some bullshit, if he can't answer why that shit ain't, fuck him. Fuck Joe Biden. Fuck Hunter Biden. None of them motherfuckers can't answer that shit. Hunter Biden probably smoking a pipe somewhere. He's not working. He's not worried about that shit. No, he got enough money to keep his crack habit up. Fuck what the NAACP got to say and all that shit. I don't give a damn about none of that shit. You can't answer that shit. Religious organizations that won't speak on this shit, that won't bring that shit up, because this is where this all boils down to. This is where all this shit originates from. This is where the basics of all the fear mongering and all that shit come from. Murderers. You're in bed with fucking murderers, liars, deceivers. Wake up. Peace.